Okay, we're going live now. Do you want to do YouTube or not?
But I need you to be present during it. I can't have you typing while I'm talking. It's ridiculous.
Okay. Okay, good. So that's ready if we needed to. Okay, so we're good. And now, okay, I think we should be live. I think we are live. Okay, good. Now that we're live, friends, we're getting ready.
There we go.
Okay.
Nice
I don't know how that happened, but whatever. Okay. Well, it's good to know that we can do that. I had no idea I could do that. And now we have to work out how to edit this to tag ourselves. With the untaggables. Facebook will not allow us to tag. Why? We have 3 viewers. It's nice. Friends, does anybody here know how to tag us? We're about to start our broadcast, but we don't know how to tag. It sounds absurd. It sounds like a dinosaur, I know. We can tag the Rebbe. That's nice.
No, I didn't know if that's the right thing.
What do we do? How do we tag? We are on Chabad Palm Beach Gardens, right?
Oh, maybe you're on your own page. Not Chabad page?
No, I'm pretty sure I am on.
Well, because I went onto the Chabad page to find it. Let's see. I thought it was on this page.
We are. No, Chabad Palm Beach Gardens is live. Okay, good. So, friends, we're just trying to work out how to tag ourselves before we start. There's a new thing on Facebook which is driving us crazy. Should we just do it without tagging? It's a shame because people will know about it. Unless you want to share it. How about you share it now on your Facebook? How's that? Maybe that's a way to do it.
That's a good idea.
We'll just share it, and that way we'll know it. We'll see it on our pages. Here, going live. Okay, we have. Oh, here it is. So I go here. Is that it? Is this the right one?
Yeah, this is the right
4
one.
minutes ago, right? So now I'm gonna go. I want to share this. I go this.
Yeah, here, share.
Share.
Here, right post.
Okay, so I think I just shared it.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, now that we're live. Okay, now that we're live.
Okay.
Now we can start. Okay, at least we sort of notified our friends that we're on. Oh, you tagged me? Good. So you tagged me in a... No. You tagged me here.
Right.
Do you want to tag me in like the share?
It might be too late. Let me see.
Can we tag us in the share so we can start?
Let's see.
All right, friends, we're about to get started here. We're just trying to work this out. I
can't.
No, when you do the share, you write something.
It's too late.
No, you can do it again. You can re-tag.
Why don't you share it on your page?
Okay, hold on.
Thank you for bearing with us there.
It worked.
I think we might need a teenager here to help us out.
Okay, fine. So I'm going to share it now.
This is when we start feeling old.
Write a message.
You don't have to write a message. Just put it in. No, put it here. No. Go here. And now just post.
Yeah, but I want to tag my name. That's the whole point.
You don't have to. It's on your page. So you won't have
it's on my page. Fine. Okay, fine. All right, good. So I think we're ready to go. All right, let's go.
Okay.
Tell Mike when we're starting. Hey, Mike, you ready to take two?
Let me see here. Get my mic ready. Oops.
We'll go with that. Thanks. We're starting. Okay.
Alrighty.
And we're ready to roll. Thank you for bearing with us, folks. We're trying to work out the labyrinths of Facebook. Not an easy world to work out. Fine, you ready to roll?
We thought we had it figured out, but
okay,
then...
present mode. Let's do this.
Okay.
Rabbi and Rebbetzin live. We're starting. Okay, Chana, you ready?
Yes.
For the radio and for Facebook.
We are waiting for our schmooze music to get us started.
Oh, I don't know if we're going to have the music.
Oh.
I'm not sure we're going to have the music. Okay? So look up.
All right. Okay. Well, welcome, everybody. So good to have you here with us. I am Chana Vigler, and my husband, Rabbi Dovid Vigler, from Chabad of Palm Beach Gardens. And today we are super excited to discuss with you some small ideas that can have big impact and huge change on your life. You know, sometimes all it takes is a few small ideas, a little tweak, a little change, in the way we see things to make such a huge difference in our lives. The Rebbe, right?
It's like Facebook, when you work out one button. If you work out how to do that one button, then suddenly everything flows. It's amazing. It's just a little switch. Imagine you could find that switch in your soul. If you could find a switch in your soul that turns you from depressed to ecstatic, a switch in your soul that turns you from sick to healthy, it's called medicine, right? Imagine you could have medicine for your soul. That is why we have a Rebbe. The Rebbe, whose Yahrtzeit is today, the 26th Yahrtzeit of the Rebbe, is in order to give us the soul, the oxygen, the food that we need for our soul to be able to live our best life now.
That's right. And today is the Rebbe's Yahrtzeit. And it's quite amazing how 26 years after the Rebbe's passing, his legacy and his vision still lives on today, and we still feel it today. And we thought it would be appropriate that in honor of his passing today, we would share with you a few simple concepts that the Rebbe taught us that helps us put on those glasses that kind of shifts our thinking, that makes such a huge, huge difference in our lives.
It's a crazy world out there. We are struggling we're bombarded with all sorts of headaches and noise and migraines and just all sorts of distractions. It's so hard to keep our focus. Imagine if you could live your life in a way where you knew where you are, you know where you're going, and you're not going to allow anything to block your path to reaching there. Imagine if you could have some tools to be able to give you the strength, the fortitude, the vision, the courage to be able to withstand the storm, to learn to dance in the rain, to be able to be the best that you can be, to live your best life right now. And that's what we're going to be attempting to do right now on this Rabbi and Rebbetzin presentation here on Facebook Live at facebook.com/Jewish Gardens. We are at facebook.com/Jewish Gardens. Chana, the first of the three small ideas that bring about big change in your life.
This might not be that small after all. When you think about it, it's actually quite big. It's simple, but it's a big one. Number one, you have been chosen. You have a specific mission, a specific job on this earth that nobody else can do. You have been given all of the tools that you need in order to fulfill that mission.
This is such an empowering message of purpose. It's a message that the Torah teaches us, but it took the Rebbe to be able to unearth the message and bring it to us to make it palatable and something that we can relate to. When the Rebbe inspires us to realize that you are not a mistake. If God put you on this earth, then you have a unique light, a unique gift that no one else on the face of this earth is able to shine. A light that you bring to this earth has never seen the light of day. God needs you. Humanity needs you. The universe, the world needs you to be you, not to try to be someone else. Because when you let the light of your neshama, the light of your soul shine, the light is one that the world has never seen before. And we've got a personal story to share about that.
I'd like to share a really beautiful story that is so meaningful to me, and I know will be so meaningful and practical to every single one of us. My grandparents were sent to Milan, Italy, over 60 years ago by the Lubavitcher Rebbe to lead the Jewish community there. They were a young couple, newly married, in their 20s, going to a country where they didn't know anybody, they didn't speak the language, they didn't have friends, they didn't know where they were going. And sure enough, they did their thing and tried to revive the Jewish community there. And they kept in constant contact with the Rebbe, and they would send the Rebbe letters always, and they were in touch with letting him know about their successes and their struggles and what was going on. And one time, my grandmother went on a specific trip to give a certain class, to teach a group of women.
This has been in the 60s, right?
This was in the 60s. And to make a long story short, she went. This group of women had asked her to please come to give a class, and she was so excited to be able to have this opportunity to go teach this group of women.
Was that in Lugano in
It
Switzerland?
was, and she had prepared a few classes she was going to teach to this group of women. She got there, and she taught the one class, she taught the second class, and the women were just with their jaws wide open.
Okay.
They just wanted to hear more and more and more. And they said, "Please tell us more, tell us more." And my grandmother's mind just went blank. She just couldn't think of a single thing. And mind you, my grandmother's very learned, very
She's
studious.
not often lost for words.
She definitely not. She had so much of the Rebbe's teachings in her mind, and
She blanked out.
she completely blanked out. And she just had nothing more to tell the
So
ladies.
she traveled all the way to Switzerland, and she forgot
Well,
what she had to say.
she did teach them, but it was when they asked for more.
Oh,
It was
gotcha,
like
okay.
she couldn't add anything. She got onto the train to head back to Milan. She sat down in her seat and she just started to cry. She was beside herself. She was so broken about, how could this be? I was sent by the Rebbe. I was the Rebbe's emissary. This Rebbe handpicked me to go to do this job, and I didn't do it properly. I am a failure. I am an absolute failure. I'm an embarrassment. And she was beside herself. When she went home, she wrote a letter to the Rebbe and said, I think that it was a big mistake that the Rebbe picked me because I was not the right person for this job. I think I think about all my other friends in my class from years
Pittsburgh.
back, and they were much, smarter, brighter, more talented, more gifted, more capable girls. Maybe if the Rebbe would have sent one of those girls, she would have done a much better job than me. A few weeks later, my grandmother actually received a letter back. It was about something else that she had written, and on the bottom, the Rebbe wrote, "It seems as you have doubts as to the one who chose you. Seems like you might not be sure about the one who chose you." So while it's one thing to say, I'm not so good for the job, but to think that the one who chose me, that the Rebbe did a bad job at choosing, the Rebbe knows what he's doing. The Rebbe knows he chooses the right person for the right job. Am I doubting that the Rebbe knows what he's doing? And I feel that this is so practical to every single one of us, because we have each been put on this earth as an emissary of God. We are each put here for a very, very specific mission. God chose us specifically. Nobody else. The fact that we were born, the fact that we walk this earth means that we have been chosen to be here. If we weren't meant to be here, we wouldn't be here. And us questioning our purpose here is to question the one who chose us to be here. So concept number one
Of three.
is remember that you have been chosen. You have been chosen for greatness. You have been chosen for a very, very specific task that only you can do.
I just want you to think about this for a moment. God Almighty, the master of the universe, the creator of heaven and earth, needs you. I just want you to think about what that means. The master of the universe needs me, little nothing me, to do something for him. How incredibly meaningful that message is, as you realize that my actions matter. Every thought, every speech, every action, every choice that I make is important. It matters. It's meaningful. And I should take myself seriously. God believes in you and me. The Rebbe taught us that it's about time for you and me to also believe in you and me. It's about time for me to believe in me.
And I really encourage you to think about those gifts, those God-given gifts that you were endowed with.
Something
and
special.
Think about if you are utilizing them to the fullest. Think about if you're actually fulfilling that mission of which you've been given. Now, of course, it can be very, very overwhelming when you think to yourself, oh, I have this huge job ahead of me, and how on earth am I going to fill it out? How am I going to use these God-given talents to become something great, do something great with it? It could be very, very overwhelming. And to this brings us.
But I just want to say one thing here, that Adam in the Garden of Eden, just to provide some scriptural support to this message. Adam in the Garden of Eden has already just eaten from the fruit of the tree of knowledge, him and Eve. They ate, they defied the word of God, and God comes looking for them, and he says one word, Ayeka, where are you? Why does God say, Ayeka, where are you? Not because he didn't know where they were. I know where you are. The question is, do you know where you are? Each and every single one of us is asked by God, Ayeka, where are you? I know where you are, but do you, Joe the plumber, Moshe the plumber, right? Mendel the seamstress, do you know where you are? Do you realize the purpose for which you were put upon this earth? Or are you trying to say it doesn't really matter, and I can make bad choices, and I can hide from my destiny? Which leads us to the second of our 3 small ideas for big impact in your life. Ideas inspired by the Lubavitcher Rebbe, by Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson, the Rebbe of Chabad, the Rebbe of our generation, whose Yahrtzeit is today, 26 years ago. The second small idea for big change is that not only do you have a purpose,
you've been given the tools how to fulfill it.
Not only do you have a purpose, but you have what it takes to reach the finish line. For God to give us a mission and not to give us the tools to reach the finish line, that would be cruel and sadistic torture. If God gave us the mission, it means that we have what it takes. It means, yes, we can. You can reach the goals that you've set for yourself. You can reach the goals that God has set for you. Like General Montgomery famously said, the difficult we do right away. The impossible takes a little longer. And we've got another personal family story to share to this particular end as well.
A really, really fabulous story that I think is something that I think of every single day, is how my paternal grandfather, now on the other side, is the right-hand man to the Rebbe, and he was handpicked to help the Rebbe in many different in areas. But when he first started, it was very overwhelming. He was a young man, just married, and he wasn't really sure where to start. And the Rebbe said to him incredibly profound words.
But there was a specific task that he asked him to do at that time.
Was it a specific one?
Yeah. You know, the Rebbe received massive amounts of mail. At one point, the Rebbe was receiving more mail than any other private citizen in the United States of America.
I think always he did, yeah.
And there was tremendous correspondence. When the Rebbe would respond to people's letters, he didn't have time to write out a full letter. He would literally write on the questioner's letter. He would write his comments, and then it was the job of the secretaries. There was 4 or 5 secretaries whose job it was to take these letters and somehow get them back to the senders. Right? Mm-hmm. And in this particular case, the story of your grandfather, of our grandfather, our Zayda Rabbi Yehuda Krinsky, your father's father, right? He had a particular letter which was written, typed nicely from the sender, and it had hundreds of words in every direction of the Rebbe's responses, the Rebbe's notes on the questioner. And they went around and in and out and up and down as the Rebbe was trying to sort of write his notes on this page. And that's when your grandfather was so frustrated.
Thank you for jogging my memory.
Take it over from there, Chana.
You're right. So he was very frustrated. He wasn't sure how he was going to get through this job, this task. And the Rebbe said to him, word by word, line by line, and you will get through it.
What a message.
And I think
just take it one word, one letter at a time. Don't look at the bigger picture yet. Just go one foot in front of the other. Go ahead.
One step, one step at a time. And I think that's so, it's really such a great thing for us to think about, because when you think of the future, when you think about your job, when you think about whatever it is, it can be so overwhelming. When you think about our goals,
Daunting.
very daunting, very, very daunting. But when we just break it up and we say, I could deal with today, I could deal with right now. In 5 minutes, I'll deal with in 5 minutes. In an hour, I'll deal with that. But it makes it so much more manageable, and slowly it helps us to reach our goals.
So when we know that we have what it takes, at least when we know it in our minds, it gives us the strength in our hands and our feet to make the move, to do what it takes. You know, the Rebbe explains that before a soul is born into this world, it's made to swear an oath that it will fulfill its mission in this world. We, you and I, each and every one of us, before our soul was infused into our body, we were made to swear an oath. That's what the Talmud says, that we will fulfill our mission in this world. And the Rebbe points out that the word swearing in Hebrew is exactly the same word as endowing. To swear and to satiate, or to endow, or to fill, is the same exact word, mashbi'a and masbi'a. And the Rebbe explains that it's not only that you're made to swear an oath that you'll fulfill your mission, but you're actually given, you're endowed with all the talents, all the skill, all the courage, all the wisdom, everything that you need to be able to fulfill your mission. Doesn't say about excess. You don't have any extras. So make sure not to waste your time, not to kill time, because, you know, we're on a mission, number one, and number two, we have everything that it takes to reach that goal. And that leads us to our third and final point today, the 3 small ideas for big change, big impact in your life, inspired by the Rebbe, whose Yahrtzeit it is today, 26 years ago in 1994, the third of 3 small ideas that can change your perspective on everything. That third idea, I'll take it from here.
Yeah.
That third idea is reinventing our understanding of struggle. Instead of focusing on the challenges that we have in our path, to realize that every wall is effectively a giant step. Every problem is sent to you by God to bring out greater talents, greater opportunities that you never even knew that you had. We see this truth illustrated when the wounded warriors of the Israel Defense Forces came to visit the Rebbe. Wounded soldiers, you can imagine, young, strapping, athletic, young men and women, wounded in battle, their dreams devastated, their futures shattered. They're coming paraplegic, quadriplegic on wheelchairs, and they were called the handicapped soldiers. They come to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe says, I refuse to call them handicapped soldiers. The Rebbe explained they are not handicapped soldiers because every time that God gives us a deficit in one area of our life, He replenishes it with a surplus in some other part of our life. Whenever you have a setback somewhere, you are given an advantage somewhere else. If you've lost your legs, it means that you have some other benefit that no one else has. Whether it's in your understanding, in your sensitivity, in your perception, in your spirituality, somewhere else you have got an excess because you've got a deficit. When God takes away something from you, He compensates for it by giving you extra somewhere else. And that's why the Rebbe said, instead, I refuse to call them the handicapped soldiers. I will call them the gifted.
The excellence.
The exceptional, right? The exceptional soldiers, because these soldiers, I know that they have more virtue, more gifts than others. Why? Because I can see. They can't walk. They've lost an arm. They've lost an eye. That is proof. When you've got a challenge, when you've got a setback, it's proof that you've got an advantage somewhere else in your life. So instead of getting lost in your problem, focus
on your surplus.
On your surplus. Don't stress the broken tile when you have the opportunity to stress the excess, the surplus, the benefit that you have oozing out of you.
Mosaic that it's encompassing. Actually, just lost my train of thought.
So this idea, friends, is the idea of the fairness doctrine.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. Is that until this point, it was the Rebbe who had that vision of calling handicapped people exceptional people. It was until this point,
Special children.
until this point, people weren't saying special needs or special children or special ed. It was the retarded or the handicapped.
It might have even been children with special needs.
No, I don't think so.
Which the Rebbe was opposed to.
I don't think it was that either. But and we're talking about years
70s.
and years before this all the psychology came out. But it was the Rebbe who started this concept of seeing the good even in the most dire situation. And I think that is our point of concept number 3, is to be able to be in a difficult situation, be in a difficult circumstance, and find within it, or be with a difficult person and find the positives about them. Find the positives of your situation. Figure out, if I was placed in this situation, it's because I was meant to be here and there's something I need to be learning from it. What is it going to be? How am I going to use this place that I am in as a springboard to help me be better and to grow in the future?
This quarantine has been rough. It's been challenging not being able to connect with people the way we used to, with the hugs and the kisses and the fist bumps and the handshakes. But you know what? There's a tremendous blessing over here. We're able to connect with people that we would never have connected before. We're having class reunions from 25 years ago. We're speaking to parents and siblings across the states and across other countries when we wouldn't normally have spoken to them. Look at the good instead of the bad. Every banana comes with a peel, but you don't focus on the peel. You focus on the fruit. We can do the same with our lives. Instead of focusing on what we don't have, we can focus on what we do. Because when you focus on what you don't have, you'll never have enough. But when you focus on what you do have, you'll always have more. You're listening to the Rabbi and the Rebbetzin. I'm Rabbi Dovid Vigler. Rebbetzin Chana Vigler is my wife. Together we are the founders and directors, spiritual leaders of the Chabad of Palm Beach Gardens. Follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Jewish Gardens. That's facebook.com/Jewish Gardens and youtube.com/Jewish Gardens. We'd love to hear from you. Send us an email to rabbi@jewishgardens.com. That's rabbi@jewishgardens.com. And we hope that these 3 small ideas will serve to inspire you for big inspirational change in your life like it did for ours.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. And we really welcome your feedback. We'd love to hear what your thoughts are. And if there's anything specific you would like us to speak about, send us an email, send us a message. We're here.
And with this, we bid farewell to 11 years on the radio. Very emotional farewell to 11 years on the radio. As I've spent my entire 30s on the radio every single Sunday here, many times with my wife Chana. And I want to say to our listeners on the radio, we are moving to Facebook and to YouTube. So please friend us on Facebook, follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Jewish Gardens, and subscribe to us on youtube.com/Jewish Gardens with a big red subscribe button on the youtube.com/Jewish Gardens, so we can keep the connection, keep the bond, keep inspiring each other, and keep connected. Thank you very much for 11 beautiful years on the radio. We look forward to conquering the next frontier on social media. Shalom. Thank you. Over and out.